Well, good day, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino Beer Review. You have me, the Rhino. I have a beer that was brought to me by Nick from Maxwell Stars Beer Reviews. Thank you very much, Nick. This is a New Brunswick specialty. And really, the greatest thing about this beer is Nick brought me 2 bottles of this. One for me and one for Joe. Joe only knows about 1 bottle. So when I untap this beer, Joe the Troll is going to lose his shit, and it's going to be amazing. He's going to lose his shit and be like, "You drank my beer, bro, what the hell?" And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to do a little I fucked the troll dance, and it's going to make my day. Anyway, this beer is Picaroons Maple Cream Ale, which is 5% alcohol by volume. Now, Maple Cream Ale is a beer that that we've found out through several trials and errors. Goes bad really quickly. So, the big question is it still good? Whether or not it's still good or it got infected and has gone bad, I don't know. This brown cream ale is conditioned as a lager and brewed as an ale. Okay. So, basically like a brown Kolsch. That's right, a lagered ale, you know. The result is a beer that is well endowed with rich malts flavors and the bittersweet accent of pure New Brunswick maple syrup. If you're going to make a maple syrup beer, and I say this all the time, I mean even knowing that my grandfather makes maple syrup up in Renfrew and all that, and Lanark County is around and everything, if you're going to make something with maple syrup, make it right. Fuck being completely local. Get your maple syrup out of Quebec. The Frenchies know how to make their maple syrup. They know how to make maple syrup and Belgian-style beers. Their construction might not always be the best, but their maple syrup and their beer, really good stuff. So get your maple syrup from Quebec. Get it from Quebec. Quebec grade A maple syrup. It's expensive as fuck, but it's damn tasty. Anything else on here? That's in French. Return for a refund. Northampton Brewing Company Limited, Fredericton, New Brunswick. Okay. Let's open it and hope for the best, boys and squirrels. You know, I love my new Tiku glass from Beyond the Pale. The only thing... Oh, I never noticed that. Okay. The only thing I would have to say about it there, Beyond the Pale, is for a brewery that basically sells most of your beers in half growlers, in the 1 liter growlers, this is a small Tiku glass for a 1 liter growler. Just saying. Just saying's all. Not much of a smell. A little bit of like a caramel and nutty scent that you would get from normal brown ales, but other than that, nothing really. Yeah. So let's try it. Cheers. Didn't smell bad. It didn't smell good, but didn't smell bad. Let's hope that it hasn't turned. It's turned. Has a nice infection in it. It's actually turning into a sour beer right now. They don't pasteurize. They don't do much filtration. All that's normal. But when you use maple syrup, you kind of have to think about pasteurizing. Maple syrup has many organisms in it to begin with, so a beer turning, when it's a maple beer, is very, very easy and very quick. Heat, I mean, they talk to you about how temperature isn't a big thing for most beers, and for most beers it isn't. But for a maple beer, it kind of is. I mean, again, you're getting sap right out of a tree. Now, mattering what grade of maple syrup you're using matters how many times it's been boiled and all that sort of thing. But a lot of places will use pure sap, unrefined maple syrup. It has a lot of organisms in it, and they can grow. And you don't normally add the maple syrup during the boil. It's usually in secondary and all that, so, or in conditioning. And due to that, the organisms are still in there. It's turned. But is it a bad beer? No, it actually is kind of funny to drink it like this because it does have that beautiful sour notes that I love in some beers. It hasn't even gone funky yet. It's just starting to hit the sour notes. You can still taste the nuttiness. You can still get a little bit of the maple syrup. The maple syrup hasn't completely gone. But overall, you're getting a lot of sour turning. I'm not really going to review it other than to say that it turned, and I'm going to untap it just to get Joe going, and I'm going to post this just so you get the talk about Joe. Anyway, Nick, thank you for trying. I think this is a beer that, unless I'm in New Brunswick at the time and it's there, I'll never actually get to try properly, and I think for the most part no one else will either. So what's this? 3 fails for 3 on trying to bring it out of Nova Scotia, even to get it to out of New Brunswick, even to get it to Nova Scotia, it failed, and that means the beer's just too delicate. It's too delicate. I mean, if you can't even drive it here and then put it right in the fridge, it's too delicate. If it goes in just a couple weeks, it's too delicate. Don't be serving it in bottles. I know you're trying to get extra sales and everything, but don't sell it in bottles if it's that damn delicate. You're just going to turn people off. What's going to happen is it's going to end up somewhere. It's going to end up somewhere that it shouldn't end up. It's going to end up somebody bought it and put it in their trunk or put it in their car and drove it over to a friend's house and it turned. And then that friend's first experience with your beer or first experience with this beer is this. And that can really hurt you. Railway City. I had horrible, horrible thoughts of Railway City the first time I had their beers. My first 3 beers from them all had turned. And what happened was they did the same thing. They didn't filter. They didn't pasteurize. A lot of the bacteria was still alive in the beer, which is fine as long as the beer stays cool. And the LCBO does not keep craft beer really cold unless you're a big craft brewery. They put you out on the shelf, you warm up, the bacteria comes to life, it infects the bottle, and the bottle turns. So my first 3 beers from them, my blonde, my copper, and my amber, all were horrible, and I had a horrible thought of that brewery. I thought that brewery sucked and had no experience at all because they were trying to sell bottles that shouldn't be sold commercially. You go to the brewery and you get your bottle. Brewery keeps it cold the whole time. It's great. You go to the brewery, you get your beer on tap, or you go to a bar and get the beer on tap. Much different thing than what you were bringing home. This is the same thing. Just sell this on tap. Just sell it on tap. Don't even do growler sales, because growler sales are just asking for the same thing. Somebody's going to go drink it and say, oh my god, this is amazing, get in a growler, and by the time he gets home, it's going to start to have turned. Not bad at this point. I mean, this is kind of where I think about adding some extra maple syrup to it. With this is what I would try and do. Grab the beer. Get a bunch of it. Add some extra maple syrup to it. Add a bit of dextrose to it. Add, I don't know, maybe some coriander or cilantro. Throw some Brett in. Let the Brett go insane. See what you end up with. Could be an interesting experiment. Almost be like what the King of the Forest is, eh, Dark Horse? Or you could do that. You could just leave a couple kegs of this out in the heat, let it turn, and then sell it as a lambic. Well, as an American lambic, an American sour. So you could do. Anyway, thank you again, guys. Bye.